still under oath, Mr. van Zyl?
I am.
But please, the court, my lady, let it assess this. My lady, before I start, I'll start now. I've indicated to Mr. Roo, I never expected character evidence to this level. I have prepared, but not here. So I'll carry on, and then I'll ask the court's indulgence for a postponement so that I can get everything that I have prepared ready for this witness tomorrow. I never expected this to happen today. But let us, but my lady, I will be able to use as much time as I can today.
Thank you.
Mr. van Zyl, one of your main duties is to look after the profile of your athlete. Am I right?
That's correct, my lady.
So you look after the positive things and the negative things.
That is correct.
And you've dealt with negative media and press releases in the past. Am I right?
We have dealt with negative press in the past.
But let us start with something that's easier. We'll get there. You've now explained to us why the accused would drive at a high speed when you were with him.
That's
but
correct.
you know that that's what he did. He drove at a high speed.
He drove specifically at high speed when I was in the car when we were on the way to the
And were
airport.
you not? You've heard reports that he was driving at high speed.
I have heard reports, but as I said, I wasn't witness to that specifically.
Let's talk about those reports. Tell me what you heard.
That there was reports that Mr. Pistorius drove at high speed.
What did they say?
Well, just that he drove at high speed.
No, it can't be. Somebody phoned you and said he drove at high speed. Is that all?
No one phoned me that Mr. Pistorius drove at high speed. I was informed by someone and that he drove at high speed.
By whom?
Some of the other athletes that used to drive with him.
And what did they say?
That Mr. Pistorius sometimes drive at high speed.
For no reason.
No, as I said, in my case, when I confronted Mr. Pistorius, he specifically referred to the incident that he said he wanted to ensure that we're not followed, that we are fine, and that's why he drove at high speed.
Now, when the athletes reported to you, what did you do? Did you discuss it with Mr. Pistorius?
No, I did not discuss it with Mr. Pistorius.
Why would you allow him to drive at high speed with other athletes and not deal with it?
In the instance when we drove at high speed, he did not drive reckless. So I didn't deem it as reckless driving and didn't deem it as necessary to discuss it with Mr. Pistorius.
So did the athletes report to you or did they complain to you?
No, they just mentioned it. No one ever complained to me about it.
You never read in any magazine that he picked reporters up from the airport and drove at breakneck speed to Pretoria?
My lady, I did not read all the reports from the different media that Mr. Pistorius always was in. There was numerous numbers of reports and press interviews that we always did. I never read all those reports. We had a company based in the UK that compiled all these reports for us, but I didn't read all the reports.
Then you've now said to the court what you didn't do. My question was different. What did you do? Did you read such an article? Because that was a question, not what you didn't do.
I did not read that article, and I don't know what the article is that Mr. Nell refers to.
Okay. We'll deal with it. We'll show it to you all. So relax. Then, you now dealt with instances where the accused got annoyed and lost his temper. But you forgot about that instance where he called the person that beat him a cheat.
I did not forget about that. I wasn't in London during the London Paralympic Games myself during that specific incident. I also did not have accreditation, so I wasn't allowed in the media zone.
But you know about it?
I know about it.
You didn't tell the court about that? Why not?
Because, as I said in my earlier testimony, that I only explained about the two specific instances where I was present with Mr. Pistorius.
Now, did you deal with Mr. Pistorius when he called the person that beat him in the 200-meter cheat?
Yes, there was the company that we make use of, Fast Track in the UK, that was specifically targeted and trusted with dealing with all the PR related to the Olympic and Paralympic Games while Mr. Pistorius was in London.
You see, again, I hear everything you say, but please, Mr. van Zyl, listen to the question. Did you deal with it?
I dealt with it by delegating the tasks to the relevant media people in London to ensure that media reports go out. And also I spoke with Mr. Pistorius and pointed out to him that this was unfortunate, the wrong place and wrong time for him to react in such a way. But I can also state that this incident had a long lead up. From April already in 2012, Mr. Pistorius was contacted by various athletes that's competing in his same class, and more specifically the single amputee guys, that stated that because they have one normal leg and one artificial limb, they cannot change their legs, whereas the specific athlete that is referred to here changed his legs from different events, and the athletes felt that this person is not playing fair, and Mr. Pistorius took upon himself to then contact the IPC and specifically requested that there be more specific guidelines as to what is allowed and not allowed. Mr. Pistorius himself subjected himself in 2007 to a severe battery of tests to prove that he didn't have an advantage, and he stuck to that specific leg, so he always played within the rules.
But he lost his temper on the day.
He lost his temper on the day.
Or are you telling the court that because of the run-up, he did it deliberately?
No, Mr. Pistorius lost his temper on the day.
So that's all we're dealing with. We're dealing with. So you're saying he lost his temper, but there's a reason why he lost his temper.
There's a reason, as I said, explained. There was a long lead up to this whole incident.
Okay. You told us that you met Riva and did you meet any of his other girlfriends?
Yes, I was introduced to only two other people that Mr. Pistorius introduced me to as his girlfriends. One was Miss Jenna Atkins, and the other one was Miss Samantha Taylor in the 7 years that I have been working with Mr. Pistorius.
And then we'll have to make a correction because he took Samantha Taylor overseas.
But not for competition.
But he did. He took
Miss Samantha Taylor on a television program that specifically asked Mr. Pistorius to do this television program, and he asked if he could didn't ask me, but the offer was made by the television production company that he can take his girlfriend with on the trip.
Now, do you have any knowledge whatsoever about the relationship between Mr. Pistorius and Samantha Taylor?
My lady, the relationship between myself and Mr. Pistorius was of a professional nature, but I was introduced to these three specific women that I refer to as his girlfriends. But what Mr. Pistorius do in his private life, I wasn't always aware of.
Then, you see, I will have to repeat all the questions. The fact is, do you know of the relationship?
Yes, I know of the relationship because, as I said, Mr. Pistorius
did he discuss it with you?
No,
do you know?
No, Mr. Pistorius did not discuss the relationship with me.
Not at all?
Hardly ever.
Okay. What did he discuss with you?
Just that Miss Taylor is his girlfriend. He never asked me for her to accompany him anywhere. I never went out on any dinner dates or any events with him and Miss Taylor at all.
There was an incident that I read about at the Olympics where Mr. Pistorius' roommate asked to be allocated a different room. Do you know about that?
I am aware and was made aware of that by the team management of the South African team.
And the reason the man gave was that Mr. Pistorius would be constantly on his phone arguing with people and he couldn't take it anymore. That's what I read.
Well, whether that's the case or not, I cannot comment on that as I wasn't there.
But am I right in what I read?
I wouldn't know because I don't know if that's the fact.
Has nobody told you those facts?
No one specifically mentioned that Mr. Pistorius was constantly on the phone to me personally.
Okay. As far as you're concerned, what was the reason why did the man want to leave the room?
Well, this specific athlete, I don't know even who this specific athlete was that is referred to, must have had his reasons why he wanted Mr. Pistorius to not share with him.
I'm asking you, sir. Why? Did you know why? You say the man had his reasons. Everybody knows that. You're trying to avoid questions. Why? Do you know why he wanted to leave?
If it's stated that this specific person wanted to leave the room, based on that Mr. Pistorius was constantly on the phone, then we will have to accept that was the case.
No, you don't have to accept a thing, Mr. Van Zyl. Nothing. You just have to answer questions, not accept things. As you sit there, and just listen to the question. Why did the man want to leave the room? That's all. What you heard.
What I heard was that this person wanted to leave the room because of problems he had with Oscar.
What problems?
It was never specifically put to me that that is the reason why this person wanted to leave the room.
I don't ask specifics, Mr. Van Zyl. You're avoiding the question. As you sit there, why did he want to leave the room? That's such an easy question.
He wanted to leave the room because of Oscar being on the phone, as Mr. Nella stated and that he read in a report.
Now I'm worried. Because you specifically said 3-4 questions ago that you never knew that was a reason. Now you want to furnish that as a reason. Now I'm worried. What is the reason, sir, Mr. Van Zyl? Why is it so difficult? Is it difficult for you to say negative things about Oscar?
No, it's not difficult for me to say negative things. My lady, I wasn't specifically in London at that incident. I only received a phone call to state that there's a problem. Mr. Pistorius had to leave the room and on request of one of the other athletes. And it was dealt with within the team environment. Whilst the athletes are in a team environment at the Olympic Games or Paralympic Games, we don't have specific access to the athletes whilst in the village. And it's dealt with by team management.
Mr. Van Zyl, I think it's the third time I left count. I haven't counted every time I repeat the question. As you sit there, why did the athlete ask to be allocated a new room? Why did he not want to stay with the accused?
Because Mr. Pistorius was constantly on his phone.
Are you stating that now? That they told you that?
No. I was never given a specific reason, my lady, why Mr. Pistorius and this athlete had an issue.
You never discussed it with Mr. Pistorius at all?
No, I never discussed it because I didn't deem it to be that important, as I said, because the team management dealt with that issue there and then in London. Okay. I was not in London.
Now, if I ask you, apart from having heard it from me, have you heard this version that the athlete wanted to move rooms because Mr. Pistorius, the accused in this matter, was constantly on the phone and argued with people he couldn't take it anymore? Have you read it, heard it before?
The only person that contacted me after this incident has already happened was Coach Ampilo that said to me, listen, we have moved Mr. Pistorius to a different room and the team management is taking care of matters. I was never informed that there were specifics, why the reasons was there. It was just told and put to me that there was issues and Mr. Pistorius and this specific athlete moved rooms.
Mr. Van Zyl, I'm not going to go away. This version, have you heard it before or read it anywhere? The version that the man wanted to move because Mr. Pistorius was on the phone and arguing. Not if you were specifically told, not who told you. Have you heard it, read it? And that's the question. Just that.
I have heard and was told by Mr. Ampilo, my lady, that there was issues between two athletes, of which one was Mr. Pistorius, and that there was a request that the athletes be separated from rooms.
Mr. Van Zyl, I know what you've heard, and I know you've said that before. The question is something completely different. And I'm worried that you cannot answer this question.
But
did you hear that? The version I put to you, have you heard it before? Let me make it easier. Is it possible for you to say yes or no? Have you heard that version before, yes or no?
That specific version, no. Of that there was a specific reason that the athlete was constantly on the phone. No. Okay. As I said to you, my lady, to me it was put that there was issues between two athletes and it was dealt with within the team management and the environment.
Okay, I'm going to ask you one more question then. Step off from this. So if somebody asks you, Why that happened, what caused the difficulty between the two athletes, you will not be able to tell us.
In this specific instance, no. Because I wasn't made aware that these are the specific reasons why the two athletes wanted to not be in the same room.
Okay. Now, on the 14th of February 2013, this incident took place. 2013, 14 February, this incident that we're dealing with in this courtroom took place.
That is correct.
You discussed that with Mr. Pistorius?
Did I discuss the incident with Mr. Pistorius?
Yes.
I discussed only with Mr. Pistorius and shared with him my condolences and feelings for what has happened because of what I was busy with for Mr. Pistorius and Ms. Riva Steenkamp, working on planning these trips for them together. Even a couple of hours before I got the phone call that morning, I still sent an email requesting for Ms. Steenkamp to accompany Mr. Pistorius on a trip.
Okay. Apart from sending him your condolences, the question is fairly simple. Did you discuss the incident that happened on the 14th of February with Mr. Pistorius since the time up until now?
No, my lady, I have not discussed the specifics of the incident with Mr. Pistorius at all.
Not once?
Not once.
He never explained to you what happened?
Mr. Pistorius never explained to me what happened. I did not ask him what happened, and that I can state.
Now, we've Mr. Pistorius' love for guns. Do you know about that?
I became aware of Mr. Pistorius' love for guns fairly recently before the incident appeared, and the first time I noticed Mr. Pistorius carrying a gun was in November 2012.
Not before that?
Not before that. I've never seen him carry a gun, never knew even that he was taking part in shooting activities at shooting ranges or anything of the nature.
Did you talk to him about the gun?
When I saw Mr. Pistorius carrying a gun, and the specific incident was when he was at my residence, I asked him why he was carrying a gun. He specifically replied to me that he's carrying a gun because he's fearing for his own safety.
Now, you see, as an agent, when we started, we said you would look after your profile of your client, both positively and negative things.
Excuse me? Is manager and agent the same thing?
Yes, my lady, I think Mr. Van Zyl used it both terms.
Oh, okay.
Am I right in saying you're a manager and some people say you're the agent?
That is correct, my lady. Some people refer to you as a manager, other people refer to you as an agent. As I said, the actual correct terminology by the sports governing body, IAAF, is that we are called athlete representatives.
Athlete representative. Would you prefer to be called that?
I don't mind, sir, because...
Can we call you manager? That's just so much easier.
Easy with me.
Okay. Now, Mr. Van Zyl, did you ever read an article where a British journalist visited Mr. Pistorius at his house, and Mr. Pistorius said to him that he would go out at night to the practice range to practice shooting if he couldn't sleep?
I read this article at some stage. I cannot recall specifically when, but when it was published, I did read an article.
Okay, good. Now, the article stated that Mr. Pistorius said if he couldn't sleep at night, he would take his gun, he would go to the shooting range, and he would fire shots at night. Is that? Can you remember having read that?
I remember recalling reading that.
Now, did you discuss it with Mr. Pistorius?
I did not discuss it with Mr. Pistorius.
The article that I'm talking about, would you say that was a positive or negative article that you read?
At that stage, I didn't see it as anything negative. That was for me a way that Mr. Pistorius could go and spend time by himself, not sleeping.
And could you remember if it was in that article that when the journalist walked to the main bedroom, he saw the 9mm of pistol of Mr. Pistorius in the main bedroom and asked him about it?
I cannot specifically recall that. As I said, I've read lots of articles about Mr. Pistorius, but that specific, I cannot recall.
If it's in the same article, then in all probability you read it.
I probably read it, but cannot recall it now.
Okay. If I read, or if I've listened to your evidence, Mr. Roux called it vigilant. Do you think he was? Don't you think Mr. Pistorius was paranoid?
Lady, I cannot call it paranoia or vigilant or any specific term. I'm not qualified to make an opinion based on that. I can only share my experiences that I personally experienced with Mr. Pistorius.
Okay. No, that's fine. That's fair. I agree with you. I'm not qualified to do that. But let's just deal with it. You said that he would drive fast, and when you drove with him, he said it's because of a hijacking that you were involved in.
That I was involved in.
At New York, there was a loud noise, and he grabbed you by the arm.
That's correct.
That's natural. It could be natural for anybody if that happened. To be scared, to have a fright.
It's natural for a person to be scared and look around, but for me it was just very strange that the person would grab you on the arm, being a young male.
Now, sitting at the table, placing yourself at the table, do you do the same when you sit somewhere to be able to see when people come into the room?
No, not really.
Do you agree that lots of people do that because they're just curious?
It's possible.
You just made an inference from the fact that he would sit at a specific spot. You made an inference to say that, what? Why would he sit there?
For me, it was just always interesting that Mr. Pistorius wanted to be positioned in such a way that he could see what was happening, the access of a specific venue.
Now, I'm jumping around a bit because I will be prepared by tomorrow, but the fact that you never heard that Mr. Pistorius treated Samantha Taylor not well during their relationship.
I never, in the presence of Miss Taylor and Mr. Pistorius, ever experienced that he dealt or treated her in any way bad at all. He was always kind, courteous. I can state that I never seen him treat any woman for that matter, or any person for that matter, in any aggressive way or dignified way.
Then I've carefully noted Mr. Pistorius' calculated reasons for wanting to take Reva, I think, to Manchester. I wanted to show her why I, Oscar, cannot go to functions. I wanted to show her why I, Oscar, have to sleep. I wanted to show her why I, Oscar, cannot go to events. Why I, Oscar, are on strict diet. Those must be things that they argued about, or that she couldn't understand.
I wasn't aware of any arguments. For me, it was really a case of Mr. Pistorius wanting to show Ms. Steenkamp what his world as a professional athlete is about, why it is that you have to be very strict on yourself and professional if you want to achieve these goals that you've set yourself. Most, and if not all, of my other top athletes that I represent do the same thing where you've got a specific routine every day, specific training times, specific diets, specific rest and recovery periods that will enable you to perform and train at that same intensity day in and day out.
Now, when he went to the Olympics, did he not want to take Samantha Taylor with him to the Olympics?
I was never asked by Mr. Pistorius at any stage that he wanted to take Ms. Taylor specifically to the Olympic Games. He wanted tickets for various family members and friends that I had to organize for people, but not once was I specifically asked to make any arrangements for Ms. Taylor to accompany him to the Olympic Games.
I see. Well, I've dealt with the evidence, and I'm now at a stage where I have to prepare myself, and I see it's 12, my lady. I know that lots of court time will go. We lose court time today. But I informed the court that I do need the time. Perhaps I'll come back and say that I don't have questions, my lady, but I just think it will be responsible of me to ask the court time to prepare. I had no idea that this witness would give evidence today. No idea whatsoever.
Yes, thank you.
As a court leader.
Any objection?
I'm in the hands of the court. Thank you, my lady.
Thank you. I'm putting, each time you say that, I put it down.
I take note, my lady.
Yes. Mr. Nell,
My lady?
we have a request. Yesterday I just got one copy of the report of the psychologist. Is it possible to get other copies?
Yeah, indeed.
2 more copies.
No, indeed.
Thank you.
I apologize. I thought there were more copies delivered. No.
I meant to tell you about it yesterday. I forgot.
Yes. We also had that electronically available, should the court would want that. But yes, my lady, I will ensure that it's delivered.
Yes. We usually like to have both.
Yeah. And I'll make sure that happens.
Thank you.
As a court leader.
We shall resume tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning.
As a court pleases.
Kan u ook vragen,